This is a KBTX News 3 severe weather update from the Pinpoint Weather Center.
Howdy friends, Chief Meteorologist Shel Winkley alongside Meteorologist Kaylee Thomas in the Weather Center. We got a lot of severe weather. Things are kind of going downhill for our friends in our northern counties, so we're going to stick with this for just a bit. But if you're in the community of Gause, you need to get into your tornado safe area. A brand new tornado warning has just been issued until 7:30. This will include the southeastern corner of Milam County, including everybody between Milano and Gause to the Brazos River. This technically does include the city of Hearn, so for right now, if you're in Hearn, grab the family, get in your tornado safe area as well, down to Mumford, over towards Benchley, and it includes Wheelock as well. Anybody between Hearn and Benchley on Highway 6, we are also underneath this tornado warning currently. So let's go ahead. We're going to pause this radar. Kaylee, if you would do that. And let's go ahead and look back here into Milam County. I want to show you where we've seen enough indication along with the National Weather Service that we believe that there is that rotation. You can see it here. Still a little bit broad, but it's right here. So this is Highway 79. This is, scoot me over just a bit to the left if you would there. Thank you, Kaylee. So there's Milano. So we're closer to Gause, and it's this area right here, specifically right north of the highway where you see that red and that green touch each other right on top of each other. So that is where that rotation is right now imminent. Again, we basically have this indicated on radar. We don't necessarily have confirmation on the ground yet, but it's going to be hard to do so considering the fact that we do have heavy rain falling. Guys in the back, Bob Pack is close to that storm. If we want to take his shot whenever we can, that would be great. Kaylee, what is this warn for? How fast is this thing moving here?
Good question.
Let me get a quick warning. This popped up just as we were about to go. It's going east at 25 miles per hour. So as Kaylee draws us a storm track to the east for that rotation that is about to move through the city of Gause, we are looking here at those stormy skies out there in Milam County. So we've got Drew Davis on the weather edge. We've also got our storm partner, Bob Pack. We have eyes on this thunderstorm and that area of rotation that is of concern for us currently there in Robertson County. Kaylee, let's go ahead. You're going to have to take off that. Yeah, there you go. Now draw it out if you would. All right, let's come back to Pinpoint Radar. We'll keep an eye on this live feed that we have here, but let's give you an estimation of where it's going. So moving down, let's say to the east through that polygon that the National Weather Service has set out, the time now is 6:50. Gause, we're looking at right about 7 o'clock. Again, at this point, you need to get into your tornado safe area. That's going to be a lower level of your home, somewhere in the middle of your home. So you want to put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. Don't get into a room that has windows. Don't get into a room that is touching an outside area. A closet, usually somewhere within a hall or a bathroom is usually the places that we can go into our homes for the community of Gause there. We're looking over towards Valley Junction around 7:15, Sutton around 7:30, Benchley, if it's coming down your direction, 7:40. So now we're working towards OSR between Robertson as well as Brazos County. Okay, what I want to do here, Kaylee, let's clear that off if we will. Again, the storm's generally moving to the east, and it's probably about, say, 10, maybe 15 miles there from Hearn. So let's go ahead, just in case this takes a weird turn, because I do want to make sure that we're watching this at all angles. So Kaylee, if you'll take that rotation, and instead of going due east through the polygon, let's run across the northern side of that polygon, just to make sure that we have an understanding of where this could go on those weird kind of wobbles that it takes. So if we're moving this off towards the now east-northeast at about 25 miles per hour, you're looking at the city of Hearn about 7:15. So again, anyone between Gause and Hearn down to Mumford over to Benchley, you need to be in that tornado safe area. If this is the path that it takes, and we'll continue to monitor it here, we're looking at Wheelock around 7:40 or so, and then moving at least this particular area, which it probably will loosen up by that point, but moving over OSR and into northeast Brazos County by the time we get to 7:30 or so. We have two clusters of storms we're watching here, and we'll come back to this one in just a second. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the east side of Grimes County, moving over Highway 30, working into the west side of Walker County. This area that you see with all that deep purple, that is where we have the potential for some very large hail. In fact, I'll drag my computer into the screen here just so we can get a look. Earlier warning for a possibility of $half sized hail. That hail threat has seemed to come down, but that will be moving over Highway 30, basically into the open country there of Walker County. In addition to the tornado warning, we have severe thunderstorm warnings that continue for just over another 15 minutes. Milam County, Robertson County, the same. Reason being, earlier it was upwards of about, say, ping pong ball sized hail or so. Taking a look inside of our hail scope, we see these whites. When we see a blue color, typically that's going to be a severe hailstone, upwards of the size of a quarter or so. If we poke around, just kind of get you a look at what some of these hail sizes may look like. I'm going to estimate that they're probably going to be down, around a quarter, maybe even as small as a penny. So I still think we have some hail falling, especially in the portion of the thunderstorm there that is dealing with that rotation, which, as we can see, kind of weaken up. I'm going to take a couple steps back, and we'll get you a look. So this is where we first noted this rotation. This is at 640. Moving from just north of Highway 79, that's where the National Weather Service started taking note of it. And then as we kind of advance this in time, here's 642, 645, really see that tightening up of that rotation where those greens and those reds come together. And now as we take a final look here at our latest data, which is just before the 7 o'clock hour, I do expect that that rotation, while broad, has loosened up quite a bit. Again, we've got Drew Davis out in the weather edge. Let's take a look at what he's dealing with. He is on Highway 79 headed into Milam County. We see the rain. And again, what is going to be tough about this storm is that whatever is happening there inside of it, where that rotation currently is noted, it is happening within quite a bit of rain. But where we can see where Drew is right now, things are quiet. We've got the rain, we've got some lightning in the distance. I don't really see a whole lot of movement in the trees. So that is good in terms of at least where he is there on Highway 79. All right, and do we have Bob Pack's shot again? Can we take a look at that whenever you get a chance? Kaylee, anything from the National Weather Service?
That's what I'm looking at right now. I think they're talking limestone right now.
Okay, this is Bob Pack. He is also there. He's just to the west of this tornado-warned portion of this thunderstorm. And we were talking about the likelihood that if anything is trying to dip down out of the clouds, it is rain-wrapped as we speak. You can see that heavy rain that is falling. But again, the good news, he's right on the tail from what we have heard from Bob Pack. And we don't see a lot of movement in those trees. So broad rotation, no confirmation that this is on the ground. But again, if you're in the community of Gause, you need to continue to be in your tornado-safe area. And really, I think that this is going to hug the northern side of this polygon. So it's where you see this heaviest rain right here. This is kind of where we're seeing that bit of rotation. And it does look like it's going to become more due east-northeast than rather to the east. So just to get your perspective, this is Highway 79. This squiggle that you see here, that's the Brazos River. And then there's Highway 6. And then here's where 79 comes up to Elliott and then on in towards Franklin. So anybody between Gause, the Brazos River, and then the Brazos River to Highway 6 there to Hearn. A lot of open country, but also we have some folks that are sporadically placed throughout here and then towards Hearn as well. So if in Hearn specific, I'd go ahead and get in that tornado-safe area. You may not need to be there very long, but that rotation, I think, we've seen this storm take a lot of weird wobbles, and that's why I don't want to say this part of the polygon is more specific than the other part of the polygon there.
I'd say only thing I saw from National Weather Service is they were saying that the circulation was pretty small.
Yeah.
So
It is, and again, it's tied up inside of that rain, which is going to make it pretty
really hard to see.
here. But again, this is a new little scan that we've gotten here. And you can still see, again, we're looking at the reds and the greens. So you see the red here, that's the outbound wind. Green's the inbound wind. So there is still a bit, when you see these next to each other, that's where we have that bit of rotation. So if you're in Gause proper, hang tight for, let's say, another 5 minutes or so, and then this is going to be moving away from you. But this is just about a mile or so off the Brazos River, so this will be crossing over from Milam County into Robertson County here pretty shortly as well.
Also, Shell Rusty just said that they heard over scanner a report of lightning striking a home in Gause. No injuries reported, but I mean certainly plenty of lightning to go around with this storm.
Absolutely. Can you go ahead, if you would, pull me up a live eye
Yep.
looking northbound from
Gotcha.
us here in town, either from Caldwell or from us in town. Let's talk about that lightning as well. You can see, if nothing else, this storm, it's dumping a lot of rain. We haven't talked about the flooding aspect of it just quite yet, but let me show you just over the past 30 minutes. I'll take the whole storm first. We're looking at upwards of 1,500, almost 1,600 lightning strikes here tonight. And if we take the portion of the thunderstorm that is just the kind of more concerning, so from back end of where we're seeing some of that rotation and then into Robertson County, this portion of the storm alone from Calvert back down towards the Milam and Burleson County line, almost about 1,000 of those lightning strikes have happened there within 15 minutes. So again, electrical issues with this, flooding issues with this. Let's check in on that hail again. It's been very cyclical, a very cyclical thunderstorm. And as you can see, yep, there you go. So that same area of interest, the strongest portion of this thunderstorm, I bet you that's probably going to be estimating upwards of about $0.50 now. Let's see. Yep, there you go. So north of Gaz, right near that same area that's rotating, possibility of hail at least to the size of pennies. The white area is going to be anywhere from a pea to a penny size. The blue area is going to be that quarter size possibility. And then that darker blue that you saw there, at least a $0.50 sized hail. And again, moving off towards the east at 25 miles per hour. So I want to draw us a new, let's get a good look at this real quick.
I have Burleson County up right now for your live eye.
Let's take a look.
It's not seeing a whole lot and just kind of spinning around trying to see if I can see anything.
Can you take it to, so this is from the Stella Hotel here. Can you take it to
Oh, yeah,
screen,
hang on.
if you would, for me? So this is the view here in Bryan College Station, and we'll time this out for everybody else here in just a second.
Hang on.
Let's go ahead and,
It's giving me an issue. Hang on.
okay. We'll come back to that here as soon as Kaylee can get that up.
Sorry.
If you'll see my notes about Grimes County.
Not Grimes, no.
Grimes County from that thunderstorm.
Shiro area.
Yeah,
Traced
okay.
down on a couple of county roads and Highway 30.
Okay, thanks, Rusty. All right, so
Working
let's
on
get
it,
to
working
that
on
here in just a second. But I do want to take this core of this thunderstorm because, again, if nothing else, for the city of Hearn, we take this. Hold on, Kaylee.
Sorry.
We'll take this hail core. We'll go to the east of 25. We'll back out just a bit. There we go. All right, so it's already thundering, it's lightning, the storms are already happening here in Robertson County, in Milam County, but where the hail core is, where that area of rotation, which we know the storm has to rotate in order to create the hail that we have, at least in the mid-levels of the thunderstorm. We're looking at Hearn itself around 7:15 to 7:20, and then on towards Wheelock around 7:45 as well. What Rusty was just in here talking about, and if you'll pop that into the weather service, if you would.
Yep.
I don't have my laptop over here.
Gotcha.
This little thunderstorm that we have, that severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of at least $0.50 sized hail that's now moving towards Highway 30 here in Walker County. We have reports of trees that are down in the Shiro area. So estimating that we had a pretty large wind. If we look back here very closely, just to kind of get us an idea of the wind potential, kind of in a bad spot too, where it's hard to see, but I don't really see any rotation, so I'd say probably a good burst of wind happened there on the east side of Grimes County, along Highway 30 there near Shiro as well. All right, did we pull that live eye up?
No, it was not. Hang on. I have it up on the, like, through Raritan, but it's not on the actual graphic.
And if we've got Bob Pack and if we've got Drew as well, we can go back to them. We are going to stick this out for just about at least until we know that this tornado warning is cleared. Again, as of right now, I think things are pretty broad. Who are we looking at? Is this Drew down here in the corner? Okay, this is Drew Davis in the weather edge. See traffic's moving there. He's, again, along Highway 79. Don't see a lot of movement in the trees, so that's good. But those clouds they're dark, and you can kind of see there's a bit of a contour there with them as well. So that could be some of that hail that is falling. Normally, you note like a green sky sometimes with large hail, or different color sky. So if we're looking at that hail core, you'll probably see those different colors. If we can take Bob Pack as well, whenever you guys get a chance on that, we can get a look. And just to show you, there's Bob Pack there. So still driving in that heavy rain. Don't see any hail on his windshield. And if you're on 79, likely not to happen. So this is going to be over mostly just north of Gaz. But now that we're starting to see those blues pick up a little more, $0.50 sized hail. We've had history in this thunderstorm of being up to the size of a ping pong ball. And if we just kind of take a quick poke on it and see what we're dealing with here in Milam County, still estimating about $0.50. So enough to be severe. Up to a quarter size is enough to do some damage to things like siding of houses, to cars, and whatnot. Okay, we can pull Bob down if you like. Let's get us a look. So again, this is moving off towards the east and the southeast, and you kind of see what we're dealing with. So the reason we have this rotation, see this thunderstorm activity that lifted up in from Burleson County to Milam County, and then it kind of starts swirling around with this existing thunderstorm that has been a mean one from start to finish. So it's this clashing of these two boundaries where we got that rotation. And that's why I think as that boundary continues to move northbound, we still have this hefty hail core here, but I think that that's probably going to allow that rotation to subside. And again, this tornado warning is in effect until 7:30 this evening. So at least another 30 minutes, but we might be able to see that get let go a little earlier. This whole thing is moving very slowly down to the south. So if you're in places like Caldwell, Bryan College Station, elsewhere trying to figure out exactly where these thunderstorms are going, what I'm going to do is basically just take a broad look at it here. And again, it's slow. So we're going to be dealing with these for quite some time. And we won't be on TV unless we need to for that entire time. But we will be streaming live on the KBTX Media Facebook page as well as KBTX.com. So if you're interested in the storms this evening, or if you lose television signal, you can find us online as well. So over the next hour, if this continues down on kind of a southeasterly path like it's taken, moving at about 20 miles per hour, very slow moving, sluggish storm. You're looking at the north side of Burleson County around the Crispin area around, say, 7:15 to 7:20. Eventually, again, it's already kind of, you can hear it. You can see the dark skies in the distance. The rain's already falling for you. But the bigger portion of the storm where we could see at least that quarter-sized hail, the strong gusty winds, maybe a few more areas of rotation, you're looking at about, say, 7:25 to 7:30. The city of Caldwell around 7:40, so 7:35 to 7:40. Smetana near Rellis campus as well on the northwest side of Brazos County, we're looking closer to 7:40 to 7:45, and then downtown Bryan about 6:50. So where you see BCS, that's the end of our hour-long storm track here. Each individual little contour that you see is a 15-minute time frame. So by the time you get to what's labeled here as BCS, that is the intersection of Bryan and College Station right there near North Point Crossing and that north and eastern corner of campus. We're looking at about 8 o'clock this evening for things to start going downhill and for those stronger activities to start moving into our area here as well, into Bryan and College Station. All right. Still a slow-moving storm up here in Gause. Still very broad rotation, but again, I wouldn't say that it is non-concerning. So what we're looking at here, this is another product. We don't use it on air very often, but it's what's called the shear marker here. So this is where we can sense with the radar kind of where we have some twistiness in the atmosphere. And that is still north of Gause. So again, here's the Brazos River. And if we just give you a little distance tool on that.
Shell just got a little report into NWS chat. It's not confirmed, but spotter report of a brief funnel cloud about 2 miles east of Gause.
2 miles east of Gause. Yep. That is ETA. Okay, that was currently right now, or is
that was at 7:05.
7:05. Okay,
Yep.
so that just happened. So we still have at least a funnel cloud, which is not on the ground. It's not a tornado on the ground, but this storm is still rotating, and it is still trying. So we've got something that is lowered out of the clouds, a funnel that has come down that could still touch down at any moment. And that's why this tornado warning is still active and why we're going to continue with it, especially as it continues to move off towards the east and the southeast. So there's your rotation. Again, here's the Brazos River. So you're about 3 miles to the west of the Brazos River. And then if we look here, we're looking probably about, say, 7 to 10 miles out from the city of Hearn. And I want to put the shear marker into motion.
That's a spotter was also about 3 miles southwest of Hearn, if that gives you any better of an idea.
Southwest of Hearn. So
Yes.
the spotter's sitting probably right here down into the Brazos bottom, looking back towards where we see that blue. So again, we have a funnel that is confirmed by a storm spotter trained by the National Weather Service. They're north of Highway 79 in the south and eastern portions of Milam County. This is moving towards the Brazos River and moving off towards, likely going to be into Robertson County right here just north of Highway 79. We'll see if it doesn't move a little further to the north. But again, as we were talking about, as we've started with this tornado warning coverage, I do think that it is going to hug the northern side of this polygon. That technical tornado polygon goes all the way down towards the community of Hicks, back down towards Mumford, and up towards the Brazos and the Robertson County line. This is that northern line, and I do anticipate that it's probably going to stay hugging the north side of that active polygon as well. We'll zoom in here. So just to give us an idea of some of the roads, since we do have a funnel in process, at least for a bit. So this is going to be to the east of FM 2095, south of FM 485 currently. And then as it moves over the Brazos River, if you're along North FM 1644 FM 485, or again, Highway 79 there, moving into Robertson County. Those are the active areas currently that are going to be in the path of at least this rotating storm. So again, FM 1644, anybody in Milam County along 485, near the Brazos River, to the west of 2095 and to the north of Highway 79. That is where we have this rotation that is in place, that has been noted by a storm spotter of that funnel cloud that dipped down at least as of 7:05. We can take a view from Drew Davis and the Weather Edge, and then Bob Pack, whichever one you guys want to throw up first. Happy to take either of those whenever we get them up. Okay, so there's Drew. He's in the Weather Edge. Kaylee, can you see where his spot is?
Yeah.
Just to get a rough idea of where on 79 that he is. And then we'll take a look at Bob Pack as well. Drew looks like he's turning around. Again, I don't see a lot of movement in the trees. And here's Bob Pack's shot. You can see the lowering in the clouds there just off the horizon, so very low to the ground. But I don't see anything, at least in this shot, dipping down to the ground with Bob's activity. Again, he's been following here on the west side. He said he is on the...
South of Hearn, signal's a little flighty, so it's not reading me the best right now.
Bob Pack, yeah, on Highway 79, following behind this thunderstorm. But again, at least from Bob's shot here, you can see the lightning, but I don't see anything hanging down. But a storm spotter that was south of Hearn, which is back where Drew is, so we'll take Drew's shot one more time if we can. Drew has actually moved himself now south of Hearn, looking up towards the storm as it moves in towards the east. So to give everybody a kind of an idea of where we are, what we're dealing with, and who needs to be in that tornado-safe area, we'll come back around to our visibility of our wind, and we'll drop this shot if we can, guys. Okay, there we go. So again, very broad here. So it's interesting that we had that funnel cloud, and it's hard to tell. There's two spots here that it could be. You got the greens right over the reds here on Highway 79. You've also got one that's up here. I would say this whole thing, though, is just kind of rotating this way. So if you're in the city of Gaz, likely this has moved past you. If you want to stay in your tornado-safe area for a bit longer, that is 100% okay until this moves at least over the Brazos River for you. But again, folks in the city of Hearn, that is where we need to be now. I would say that this is probably going to be the stronger indication, which now looks to be south of Highway 79, right at the Brazos River bridge there, moving off towards the east, maybe even the southeast. I'll put this into motion so we can kind of get a look at it. It looks, again, we've talked about how it's just kind of wobbling around. So it now looks like the new rotation may be setting up right there at the river, now south of Highway 79, which could eventually take it south of the city of Hearn. But if you are in Hearn proper, you need to be in your tornado-safe area, which again, if you're just tuning in with us, lowest level of your home, somewhere that is putting as many walls as you can between you and the outside world around you. So we don't want to be in a room with a wall that touches the outside, usually a bathroom, a hall closet, something without windows, get low to the ground, and that's where we need to be. That's your tornado-safe area for this situation. If we come close in, we'll kind of zoom around here. I want to see if I can come in on some street levels. Again, we're coming into the Brazos Bottom, so there's not going to be quite as many roads between where our circulation is currently, but primarily, let's call it Highway 79 and Highway 50. If you're between the Brazos River, up to Highway 50 as well, in the city of Hearn, Valley Junction, you for sure need to be in that tornado-safe area as of now. Moving to the east at 25 miles per hour. So if we just kind of do this the quick and easy way. Let's go ETA. So we're looking at being at the Highway 6 area somewhere around, say, 7:30. Somewhere between Hearn and Sutton, but that's about the time frame that we're looking at, right around 7:30 or so, unless this thing speeds up. Now, if it goes a little further to the south, because remember, it's kind of wobbling around, so if we're going further southbound, that's going to be around 7:30 for the Mumford area, and then over towards Benchley as well, towards 7:40. If you're in Brazos County, we'll come back to this here in just a bit, but if you are in Brazos County, Bryan and College Station included, Caldwell, Burleson County, Lake Somerville, north side of Washington County, a new severe thunderstorm warning has come out for you. So let me get some information on this. This is for this line of storms that's moving our way. So the standard kind of severe thunderstorm warning. So if your phone just went off for you, severe thunderstorm until 8:15 p.m. That's an hour. It's 7:15 currently. Leading edge of this line is where we're seeing the biggest impacts, right? That's where the gustiest winds will be possible, and the possibility of quarter-sized hail. Impacts are hail damage to vehicles. Expect wind damage to roofs, sidings, and trees where we have some of that hail, especially if we have some of the gusts at the same time. Could be wind blowing in from the north and northwest. So if you're in Caldwell, if you're Bryan, if you're in College Station, and you want to move your car, do so quickly. If you find a place that is near your home, that you maybe can move it to the south end of the house, or if you can move it under some cover, you still got a little bit of time. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and time this one out as well. So we're moving south.
Say south at 25.
25 miles per hour. All right, so just to give you an ETA, how much time do we have before kind of the sky starts falling on us, right? Mumford, 7:14. It's basically said that it should already be there for you. Benchley, we're looking at about 7:20. Caldwell, closer to 7:30, so you have 15 minutes time here. Wixon Valley, around 7:30 as well, closer to 7:40 for downtown Bryan. Intersection of Bryan and College Station, intersection of Texas and University. We're looking at about 7:50 this evening. Down into Burleson County again, closer to Friendstadt. We're looking at around, say, 8 o'clock or so. The Snook area, also around 8 o'clock, and down into the southeastern portion of Burleson County is where we expect that to be. We'll put it into motion for you so you can see. Let me also get you a look here. All right, so this is the view from, let me pull up our live eye cameras here. So this is a view from the Stella Hotel. It's going to say South College Station here, but we're going to leave that for just a bit. Let's pull this down for a second. This is going to be, see if we can grab this. There's our Burleson County camera. So we're looking from the Burleson County Courthouse. We'll take a quick spin around. You can see the dark skies. Again, the storm's about 10, 15 miles away. But you can see that dark there in the distance as well. Let's come back to, we'll come to the intersection of Briarcrest Highway 6, looking southbound. We've got a beautiful little sunset. Looking northbound, there's going to be a different picture for us here. So there's the bridge at Briarcrest Highway 6. We're looking to the north. You can see the darker skies off in the distance. Really, we need to be more this direction. And we'll kind of pause it there. So we'll keep it there, and we'll probably start seeing some lightning pop up here pretty shortly. All right, Kaylee, anything new?
Not really in our area, no. They were saying severe thunderstorm warnings across Milam and Robertson will be allowed to expire if they have not already, but I guess they're going to keep that tornado warning going for right now.
And again, that goes until 7:30, which is why we're still on your TV with you, just because we had that indication that there was a funnel there near Highway 79. And I think probably one of the more stronger indications that we have that there's at least maybe that funnel ongoing. We've shifted now south of Highway 79. So this is good news for the city of Hearn. I would still stay put for the time being. The whole thing is headed southbound. So the rotation's kind of justified itself here. But there's the highway. There's Gauze. Gauze, if you've been in your tornado safe area, you are now safe to come out. That storm is to your south and to your east. But if you're in Mumford now the kind of concern is down your direction. And again, that rotation, which seems pretty tight, at least by what we can tell here on radar, moving into the Brazos Bottom, if we're having any sort of appendage coming down from the clouds, if we have a funnel that's still in progress here, that is going to be where it is. And we'll switch over here just to our shear marker. Don't see a strong indication there, so that is good news. If we don't see a lot of blue here, doesn't mean it's necessarily, the end-all be-all there. And this may be, what we're looking at here is kind of a debris tracker, and there's not going to be a whole lot, but it may just kind of be an artifact of the radar. Usually what we look for is something like this blue area that you see that is around that area of rotation. This could be dust that's being flung up into this system as well. So I'm going to check back on this because, again, there's not a lot out here to really be lofted into the air if there is an ongoing tornado. But usually what we find when we use this product, if there's a tornado that's happening, that blue color typically is what shows us. And basically what this is doing is showing us where something is in the air that shouldn't be there. So this is what we call our debris tracker. But again, we're coming into a very dusty part of the Brazos Bottom, and that could be one of the reasons there as well.
Latest from National Weather Service, they're continuing the tornado warning
As they
for
should, yeah.
Milam and Robertson till 7:30, capable of producing a tornado located 4 miles west of Mumford,
Yeah.
moving east at 10. So no big changes, just keeping it up as it has been
Yeah, slowed down a little bit too, moving east
Yeah.
at 10.
at 10.
So let me re-justify here. So again, if you're in the community of Mumford, we need you to be in that tornado safe area. Lowest level of your home, as many walls as you can between you and the outside world. Again, no confirmed tornado on the ground, but at least from what I can tell, since this tornado warning was first issued, this is maybe the most convincing that we've seen. Moving which way? Southeast or east?
It was east at 10.
Okay, so let's move it due east. So if we're moving at about 10 miles per hour, it's either near, in, or north of the city of Mumford, the community of Mumford there, by about 7:45, and it may be a little bit sooner than that. So if we get to the Brazos River, 7:19, that's going to be over the next few minutes. Again, moving at 10 miles per hour. We're moving slower than you normally drive through a school zone at this point. North of Mumford by about 7:45, which would be past the time of this tornado warning's expiration date. And if it's still moving east, we're at Highway 6 by about 8:10, 8:15 or so north of the community of Benchley. Now, if it takes, remember, the whole thing's moving southbound. That's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning for Burleson County and for Brazos County the same. So if it's going to be moving down to the south and east with the whole storm versus taking that easterly turn, again, we're looking at Mumford coming over the Brazos and into the community of Mumford right about, say, 7:50 to 7:55. But again, that, I would say maybe could even come in a little earlier for you. So that's why we need you in that safe spot as we are.
Nothing big from National Weather Service, no big changes at least, just saying circulation has tightened back up near the Brazos on the latest scan, so
Yeah.
still some potential. They haven't had any other reports of funnels. I know that's where Drew is right now, and he's saying it's really hard to see anything, just because it's so
Rainy.
rain-wrapped.
And that's exactly, I mean, let me show you the rainfall rates where we are. So this tornado, this rotation at least, or the potential tornado, if you will, it's back here right inside of this heavy rain, and that's why it's hard to see. But right now, at least from the best estimate that we can get from our tools, one, this shear product is growing, which is concerning for the community of Mumford. That is why you need to be in place now. And two, this is the Brazos River. This is the very northern side of the Burleson County line. So this product has now once again started to grow. And a reason for concern there for the city of Mumford here over the next probably 5-10 minutes or so. Let me pull up, I've got a lot of tools that we can use here.
NWS in Houston saying that they are thinking about the idea of may need a tornado warning for that same storm again moving into Brazos County.
Right, and so what we're dealing with here, so basically the Burleson and Brazos County line is the endpoint of the National Weather Service in Dallas and Fort Worth, and where we pick up coverage from the National Weather Service, who would issue warnings from the Houston Galveston office. And so we may see a new warning come in as this kind of changes over jurisdictions of offices. Let's see, I'm trying to find, we've got some products here that can give us an idea. I'll let that load up here for a bit. But again, right on the Brazos River again, that's kind of the area that we're watching there. So again, city of Mumford, community of Mumford, need to be in that tornado safe area. All right, so I'm trying to pull up, we got a couple algorithms that we can use here. Okay, so looking at the storm, if we just want to take straight from the radar and what it can tell us, right? We've got about a 60% chance that we still have that quarter-sized hail. So we're going to flip over to that product for you. And you can see the blue. So about a 60% over medium likelihood that we at least have some quarter-sized hail falling as this core of the storm moves towards and over the Brazos River. When it comes to the wind probability, it is a high 90% probability that we have at least a 60-mile-per-hour wind pushing out of this thing. When it comes to the tornado probability, which again, at least by this indication, that is serious enough that we need to believe that if there's not a tornado on the ground, it is still producing that funnel cloud moving over the Brazos, but we're about at 30% on that. So not the highest of percentage, but you never want that percentage really over single digits. So it doesn't have to be super high in order for something to actually be producing at this point. And that is why, again, we're continuing and looking at the radar, looking at the data here. Kaylee, I'd say that that is
Yeah.
pretty good indication. So you can see it tightening up, and you can see those greens and reds starting to swirl around each other, moving to the south and to the east.
So yeah, that's
Still hard to tell on the coefficient there. But again, City of Mumford, it's with you. It's over the Brazos River right now. That's where this area, if we have a tornado that is being produced, it is right now passing over, at least as of our last radar scan, passing over the Brazos River into the very south and western corner of Robertson County. So the community of Mumford, anybody along Highway 50, to the tune of, don't worry about the ETA on this, but to the tune of about 2 miles north of Mumford, 1 to 2 miles north, you need to be in that lowest level of your home. Many walls as you can between you and the outside world. This rotation is about 3 miles to the northwest of Mumford, right at the Brazos River. Again, a lot of dust is probably being kicked up here as it comes over that bottom land. If we can, we'll take Drew Davis's shot once again whenever we get a moment to do so. There's Drew in the weather edge. Looking at some lightning, you can see the structure of the storm. If you look towards over the power lines there, you can see how tall the storm is, which really, if we can do the same.
Shell, looks like they're going to do a new tornado warning for the storm along Robertson and Milam.
Okay, from Fort Worth?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. These storm tops are stretching about 50,000 feet into the air. All right, so that's Drew Davis again. Can we see Bob Pack as well, whenever we get him pulled up? There's a shot from storm partner Bob Pack, looking at the back end of the storm.
Myself and other vehicles, we just had to hit the brakes and stop.
It looks like Travis, we find we heard him that he just said, looks like either there's a traffic issue or just something that came across there. So again, if y'all will keep an eye on that, if you see a reason to take it, please let me know. But again, I think a serious situation at this point for folks in Mumford, and then eventually moving down towards the Brazos and the Burleson County line. And as Kaylee just mentioned, we're looking at the likelihood that we get a new tornado warning for Robertson County, and this could be stretched down into Brazos County as well. But right now, this looks to be a southern Robertson County issue, as what is pretty apparent, at least a pretty tight rotation within this thunderstorm. At least producing some large hail up to the size of quarters. We've had reports of funnel clouds from the storm. And we just got a new tornado warning as well.
It's until 8:15. Located 2 miles west of Mumford, east at 10. For storm
Okay,
motion.
so basically the same area. Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll come back, we'll keep an eye on Bob's shot. Let's come back for just a second. It goes until when? 8:15?
8:15.
Okay,
Yes.
got it here. All right, so new tornado warning. Same areas that have been in the warning, but again, we're really right now at this very moment working this through the south side of Robertson County near the community of Mumford and Aston, and then moving towards maybe the south end here of Robertson County. This will include the city of Hearn still. It's to your south. I would at least be very close to your tornado safe area, if not even in it at this moment, just in case this makes another weird what. We've got a lot of boundaries out there. But again, whole thing's kind of pushing off towards the east and the southeast. So 8:15 from the National Weather Service, moving east very slowly at 10 miles per hour. So this is not a fast-moving, going to be over kind of situation. This thing is crawling into southwestern Robertson County at 10 miles per hour. The main hazard here is tornado. We have the possibility as well of a quarter-sized hailstone. But the main concern is going to be tornado. From the National Weather Service, If this is on the ground, their impacts are flying debris that will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely as well if this is on the ground. It is over mainly rural portions of Robertson County at this moment, but we're still near an area that is populated, and we're moving towards areas that are even highly more populated. And that's why we're staying on your TV here for a bit. And then we're also on KBTX.com as well as KBTX Media Facebook page.
Shell, same spotter from earlier, but it's now in the Houston chat, saying spotter's 11 miles west-northwest of Bryan. Brief tornado seen northwest of Mumford a few minutes ago.
Okay, so he used the word tornado, just
Yeah.
to be certain. Okay,
Yes.
so tornado, earlier the same spotter said
It was a funnel.
which meant that this was above ground, had not touched down yet. Now we officially have a spotter who has seen it on the ground, a tornado on the ground. Tell me again the distance.
It was spotter's 11 miles west-northwest of Bryan.
Okay, so we're going to take our distance tool here. Don't worry about the ETA.
They're saying it's hard to see because, again, it's been extremely
Rain-wrapped,
rain-wrapped.
right.
So it may have not been an actual tornado, but not confirmed report.
Right, so basically this spotter is right here at the Brazos County and the Robertson County line, looking towards this storm. And again, as of right now, indications are that we have a tornado on the ground moving into the southwestern corner of of Robertson County, moving into the southwest corner of Robertson County, right on top of the community of Mumford. Storm spotter sitting right here, looking towards what is likely a rain-wrapped system, but Bob Pack is sitting right on the edge of it as well. So if we can take it, he says you see in front of this couplet. So if we can take Bob Pack's shot full, whenever you get a second on that, we will take a look and look at this thunderstorm. So there we go. There is a view looking from the east, or at least the southeast, looking towards this tornado-warned storm. So again, if you're in the community of Mumford, if you have been waiting, if you haven't been there, if you know someone that is there, you may send them a text. I would think that the weather at this point would have caught their attention. But again, we have a storm spotter that has confirmed that there is a tornado on the ground. I'm going to just check in. All right, we can come back now if we want. So just to give you your kind of your positioning here. So I'm going to clear this off real quick. We're going to look basically in this big purple area. That is where we have what has been reported as a tornado. Let me get rid of my ETAs for just a second. So to get you an idea, we're about 5 miles to the west of Highway 6. We're about 7 miles, 8 miles or so off the Brazos County line from the community of Mumford. And we're about 8 miles as well to the south and to the west of the city of Hearn. Again, this is moving east at 10 miles per hour. So what we'll do here, a couple things. I do want to look back in our shear product. That's pretty convincing. So again, if we're finding a tornado, it's likely either right over Mumford or it's still right just to the northwest of town. But this could be slightly old data as well, right? We're getting these every couple of minutes or so. So this, while slow, it's not going to jump dramatically, but it's definitely now into Robertson County. It's now on the east side of the Brazos River. And just by looking at this product alone, it's indicating that we likely do have this tornado. If not, it's touched down and come back up at the least, but I would say that this is still a very formidable storm at this point. So if we move this to the east, it's not going to catch alive. It takes this exact path, but again, we're going to kind of be around Benchley as well. So actually what I want to do, just so that we're not short selling anybody here, let's take this broad area. Let's go east to 10. There you go. So if we're around Mumford, it's with you. Benchley, 8:15, 8:20. Highway 6, you're looking at about 30 minutes. If you're closer to Hearn, you're probably looking at about 35 minutes if you're closer to Benchley along Highway 6. And we got a lot of folks that live right there along the highway. So you're looking, it's 7:30 now, 10 mile per hour, it's an hour away. But you need to be close to your tornado safe area. You don't necessarily have to jump in there now, considering how much of a snail's pace this thing is going. But you need to be thinking about what you're going to grab, who you're going to grab, where you're going to head if you're closer to Highway 6, if you're not already in that tornado safe area. If you want to take your phone or your tablet or your computer and just kind of hunker down and head there for a bit, by all means, please do. As we continue to track, again, what looks like a likely tornado in the southwestern corner of Robertson County. Anything new, Kaylee?
Nothing new for that warning. They're canceling one up in Van Zandt.
Okay.
But actually, hang on. Strong thunderstorm for Houston, Madison, Walker.
Yeah, that's
So,
the other one. That had
that's- yeah.
some history of tree damage in the Shiro area on the east side of Grimes County. So that, we'll talk about the storm track here in a bit, but that's this storm here to the north and to the west of Huntsville. Northeast is Singleton. This one still has the potential for some small hail as well as some gusty winds. A reminder that Caldwell, Bryan College Station, Brazos County, Burleson County, Somerville Lake, down to Somerville itself, north side of Washington County, technically under a severe thunderstorm warning as well, as this whole thing kind of moves slowly down to the south. Not necessarily the tornado warned spot, but we know that the storm's capable of it. And we're watching that corner very closely, which is either going to run, if it keeps up, south end of Robertson County, north end of Brazos County. Caldwell, 7:30, 7:35 already. A couple more minutes, heavy rain starts. We'll look at the hail here in just a second for you. Benchley, at least with the heavy rain and the gusty wind potential, if nothing else, 7:40 to 7:45 is your time frame. Smetana, northwest portions of Brazos County to the Rellis campus and the intersection there of 21 and Highway 50. We're looking at, or rather Highway 70, Riverside Highway there. We're looking at about, say, 7:50 this evening. Downtown Bryan, 8 o'clock. It says College Station, so we're looking around, say, the George Bush Southwest Parkway area. That's what we're labeling here as College Station, around 8 to 8:10. Same for intersection of University and Texas. And then as we get down into South College Station, the Greens Prairie area, Wellborn, we're looking at about, say, 8:20 this evening. And if it continues on at the very slow 20 mile per hour pace, 8:30 or so, we're headed down into Somerville. So if you're in Snook, you're looking at about the next 30 minutes to come your direction. Davidson, Friendstadt, also with you. Cooks Point, that thunderstorm's pretty much on top of you there in Cooks Point as we speak. It's getting pretty close. But you can see where the strongest of those storms, not the tornado warned portion of the storm, but if we look around Cooks Point, north of Highway 21, that blue color you see that extends from Mumford down to north of Cooks Point, that's going to be at least hail up to the size of a quarter. Bet you I'm going to poke at it. I was going to say $50. Estimating now the possibility of hail as large as a ping pong ball. That's falling there of the open country of Burleson County. That's moving to the south and to the east. The reason we have the severe thunderstorm warning. So we still have time here in Bryan and College Station in Brazos County, but you can see with the storm right now, as we put it into motion one time for you, you kind of see the whole thing just kind of wobbling around itself. But that's eventually going to be moving and making a direction either right down the east side of Burleson County.
I'd say, got some new stuff in from.
Yeah, give me 1 second on that. Or into the west side of Brazos County. Okay, just got the text about the new warning. Go ahead, Kaylee.
Yeah, tornado warning in Robertson is going to be replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning as the tornado threat appears to have diminished, is what NWS Fort Worth is saying. And then the new severe thunderstorm warning, winds upward of 60 miles per hour and hail of at least a quarter size, and that is until 8:15. And they have just canceled the tornado warning.
Okay, so the tornado warning is over. This does look broad. We did have a report of a tornado on the ground, but again, hard to see, right? Because we have all the rain that's happening. We still have high winds here. Kaylee, if you will, poke right there at the Brazos River there south of Mumford, where you see that white color.
Yes.
Let's just see what we're estimating there in terms of our wind.
You said south of Mumford?
Yeah, that little white spot there in the red. It's going to be a kind of an enhanced.
Oh,
radar
hang on.
there. Go a little further south.
I missed it.
But you can see that wind that's blowing out of the storm, estimated right now around, say, 45 mile per hour, 50 mile per hour or so. And then you get the green that's coming in. So this is the wind that is feeding, being pulled from the south into this thunderstorm, basically right through the Brazos Bottom to the west of Highway 6 and being pulled back around. Again, there you go. So there's a new, there's an update. That's good. This is actually better than what I was just looking at there. So again, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire for this moment. In terms of the hail potential, you still got it. There's probably some hail falling right now in Mumford itself. Light, smaller hail, maybe sub-severe size for now, but that's moving towards Benchley and Highway 6, and then that stretches to where we were estimating maybe as large as a ping pong ball. And we'll get another estimation here around the Cooks Point area. Yep, still as large, happening there in Burleson County. So when we zoom this out, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, but the storm is still rotating. So likely what we're going to find, is there a tornado possible tag with it?
Let me check.
I can look here as well.
Doesn't say so.
So the new warning that they're issuing here until 8:15, 65 mile per hour winds, possible quarter-sized hail. Radar indicated, as we've seen, it does not come with the tornado possible tag. So that's, I guess, the good news there, at least from what we're getting from the National Weather Service out of Fort Worth. We've seen the rotation. We had the reports that we had. We saw the signatures that we did on the radar screen. But as of right now, if you want to hang out, if you're in the city of Mumford and you're just, still with you, you're still in the biggest portion of the storm. If you want to stay where you are, that's fine. Just because, the rotation of it has weakened quite a bit. It's a mess now. So we'll go back here a bit. That was where we had tight rotation over the Brazos River around 7:15, 7:25. Still a pretty good indication there around 7:28, which I think is about the time that we had the report from the storm spotter. And then now as we move closer to 7:40, notice how it's not quite as well defined. You got kind of winds sporadic everywhere. Again, green's going one direction, red's coming the other. So much more of a messy rotation. We do know that it is still rotating in terms of the hail potential there. But I think what is telling of this as well, when we look at the hail, even though it is very large here, at least all indications from pinpoint radar, the fact that this is elongated now tells me that maybe, the storm's interrupting itself. But you can see the lightning. You've got Drew Davis and the Weather Edge. We've got our storm partner, Bob Pack, and you can just watch their shots here and watch the lightning that is happening with it as well. So the good news is that tornado warning has expired. The bad news is that we still have some very hefty hail potential, as well as some strong winds that are now moving further into more highly populated areas, again, at this point. So just kind of give you a look at that hail, which again, the biggest of which we'll zoom back out here in just a second and estimate it out. But if you're in the community of Cooks Point, got a couple folks there, that purple that you see, that is the indication that we could have hail, at least the sporting ball size, ping pong balls, if not even maybe slightly smaller. And we'll see, have they updated on this warning at all?
No, not that I've seen. Latest from Houston is they're saying storms bowing out in Brazos, so strong damaging winds likely, and lightning's ticking up as well.
Yeah, so we did this a little earlier with the tornado warned storm. Again, our radar data we got storm spotters to put eyes on the ground because that's the best way we can do it, but we've got pretty good technology that can tell us exactly kind of, what we see. So we have an estimation of at least a 75% chance that in this purple area, from Highway 21 back up into the Brazos Bottom of Mumford, seems like I just lost some radar data here, looking at about a 75% probability that we have hail, now up to an 89% as I get some new data in, and a 95% that we have damaging winds, and that's because we're seeing that bowing segment there on the radar screen. Kaylee, I might need to take over on your...
I lost radar data as well.
Okay. Well, that is a problem for us. We need some radar data, that's for sure, in order to get you an idea of what's happening here. So we're going to need to fix that here for just a second. Let me turn on something else just so we have it here. So this isn't going to be as high definition, But it does seem like we have lost radar data coming into our max boxes here. I think the final point that I wanted to make on that one, though, is that the tornado threat seemed low. Again, using a product that's not quite as high resolution for us, but you can see where that Boeing line is. So what Boeing means is basically the winds are pushing out faster from the back end, pushing towards Brazos County, towards Bryan and College Station as well, and in towards places like Snook. There's our radar data. We got it back. All right. So we can get you a better look at things in that other product. But that Boeing segment is where we can have some enhanced winds. Take a look at it here. We're at least looking at estimations, close to 50-mile-per-hour winds. Again, here's the Brazos River. There's Highway 21. There's Rellis Campus right about there. So we've got these faster winds coming through the Brazos Bottom once again. Still see a bit of rotation, very broad, so that's the reason we were able to let that tornado warning go up there in Mumford area. But we're looking at about a 45, 50-mile-per-hour wind at the least, gust right now moving into northwest Brazos County. That eventually could come across Bryan and College Station as well. Let me pull up this, let me get a better look. All right. I'm going to take a peek here. This is the view from Briarcrest Highway 6. Zoom out a bit so we can see. Looking off towards the north and to the west, kind of hindered by this pole here. But you can see the lightning that's flashing there. And what we will do is we will come over to, let's look from the south end of town. So we're going for the viewpoint of the top of the Baylor Scott and White Hospital there at Rock Prairie Highway 6. We'll look back to the north, just to see the storm clouds that are coming our way. You can see a little bit of the last light here this evening, but you can see all that lightning flashing off in the distance north of town. There you go. So lots of lightning, heavy rainfall, wind gusts in excess of at least 50 miles per hour, but we're warned up to the possibility of 60, and if this line continues to bow out, kind of push itself outward, that's a better view. Then we could see winds enhance upwards of 65 or so. There's the base of the thunderstorm, looking now from the rooftop of the Stella Hotel out at Lake Walk. All of that there is the heavy rain that is coming, the discoloration you see, the base of the clouds that are coming through, being pushed out. So the cooler, rain-cooled air leading up to this little kind of edge of the storm that you see all the lightning that's happening here. But this is the best view we have right now of the storm that is moving into Burleson County, moving into Brazos County, soon to be moving into Bryan College Station as well. Can we flip over to Max 2 and let Kaylee take over for just a second if we can?
Yeah.
And when you're ready for that,
That's right. Max 2 crashed, so it's loading right now.
Okay. Well, let's stay on Max 1 then.
This is killing time before I...
We've been working these computers since about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay. Think we have it up now. Yeah, we are good. If y'all need to take Max 2.
Go ahead. So again, just kind of estimating on some winds over the Brazos River. At least a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust, enough to bring down some small tree limbs. But we're going to keep that severe thunderstorm warning going. And while it's moving into Brazos County, moving into places like Snook, I think the biggest hail is going to be moving away. There's Kaylee's computer, away from the city of Caldwell, which is good news. And before I step away and hand it over, I think right now there's potentially some pretty large hail falling in the community of Cooks Point, coming over Highway 21. So I'll let Kaylee do a storm track on that one.
Cool.
I'm going to handle just a couple of things real quick, and we'll be back with you. Go ahead, Kaylee.
For sure. In addition to all of that, we have a continuation of the severe thunderstorm warning for Brazos, which I'm not surprised by, and then we're continuing Robertson as well. All right. Let's get up here. All right. All right. Thanks so much for sticking with us, guys. We are going to get our other computer up here and going. So again, we're checking in on this line as it bows out, as it moves into Brazos County and Burleson County. Yes. Yes. There we go. Cool. We're good over here, guys? Cool. All right. So we are getting things set up over here. Let me get Max 2 pulled up. There we go. It's up now. All right. Here is that. Let's go ahead and let's get a hail scope on that because we were talking about that just a little bit ago. I'm going to pause on here. So again, we were talking about that potentially quite large hail. Again, that hail has stayed pretty big, moving just over to the east of Caldwell, right over Cooks Point. So we'll get you an estimate on that there we go. So golf ball is what we're getting reports of, or at least radar indications of. So if you are in Cooks Point, or if you are south of Cooks Point, this storm is moving south again around 2025, I believe, at last check. So we will clear this off and get you kind of we'll go ahead and loop this with that hail data on there as well. So you can see it's staying pretty steady. We've seen over the last couple of hours, really, these storms are quite cyclical. So hail will bounce up and then it will bounce down, but this has stayed quite steady over Cooks Point. Again, likely seeing quite large hail up to the size of ping pong ball, golf ball. I'm gonna see if we're getting any reports from NWS. Not seeing anything over by Cooks Point right now. So we will keep our eyes on that one. We're also going to now get eyes on that storm again, moving into Brazos County. I have plenty to talk about there. So we will clear this.
Yeah, we have some Robertson County reports, hail sized around 7:39, 7:40, so about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Quarter-sized hail falling 8 miles south of Hearn, pretty close to where we had that area of rotation as well.
Yeah. Likely seeing larger hail now. So let's pause
Yeah, and they've
this up.
updated. Have you talked about the update on the severe thunderstorm warning here?
We're about to.
Yeah, so while you set that up, 1.75 inches hail. So we're talking about hail up to the size of at least a ping pong ball. Could be larger, up to golf ball sized hail. 70-mile-per-hour winds now is what the National Weather Service out of Houston and Galveston is mentioning. So as we update this warning until 8:15, this includes primarily right now the west side of Burleson County and then into the east side of Burleson County, west side of Brazos County, the possibility of hail up to the size of a golf ball and winds in excess of 70 miles per hour, with the most concerning portion of this thunderstorm right now passing over the community of Cooks Point there, just on the far east side of Burleson County.
So yeah, and it got wind up here, and just to kind of give you, again, this is radar estimated, so it's not going to give us, honestly, the best view at all times, but we're seeing wind estimates upwards of 50 miles per hour, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing wind gusts higher than that as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll check in on that hail again. Yeah, it's just that core over Cooks Point that we will kind of get another zoom in on. Again, right over Highway 21, and it is... We'll get you another loop on this one. Did they update the
Southeast at
speed?
25, yeah.
25, okay. Cool. So we will then go ahead and get you a time on this one here, and plenty of thunder here.
Yeah, and while we're throwing that out there, I think initially, when you get onto the west side of Bryan, we're looking at about, say, 8:15, 8:20. So it's going to be still a bit of time. Again, this is moving pretty slow. But I'll let you take over from there.
Yeah. So if we're going southeast at 25, I'm going right now just on that hail core. If we're going to continue to see just that large hail falling in that same space, then we'll kind of widen out the view like we have the last couple of scans here. So here's that time again, southeast around 25. So we're expecting around Snook at 8:16. So here in the next 20-ish minutes or so. Oldham Church here in about 3 minutes. Zion Hill, if it is not already there, it is knocking at your door. Wilcox, 8:30. Then by the time we get to around 8:50 or so, should be in Milliken. So that's just that hail core, though. That's not this entire storm. Again, this entire warning it's spread across Burleson and Brazos. So we'll clear this, and we'll kind of give you a wide view. Again, this isn't where the most concerning hail is, but just to kind of give you an idea of when the rain, when the thunder, when the lightning is coming your way. Go ahead and use southeast 25. All right, so BCS there, again, that's the intersection of Texas University here at around 7:57, and that's just the rain, the lightning, not necessarily that large hail core. Wellborn around 8:09, Milliken 8:27. That's when we're looking at the bigger view hitting you guys, and then Brenham 8:46, Navasota 8:48. If it continues to move at this pace, which I don't see any indications of this speeding up, I think it's probably just going to keep crawling as it has been. So we will get you another look at.
Yeah, and Kaylee, while we got a moment, we got an image in. I want to show you what this looked like looking at the storm from the Friendstadt area. So this is a picture that just got sent in to us. And it's, I mean, everything that you would think a supercellular thunderstorm, one that is capable of producing the large hail that we have. That is the view, again, from Burleson County out in the Friendstadt area that was just sent in to us about 10 minutes or so ago.
Wow.
We can come back to, if you want to hop off Max 1, if you want, or come back to Max 1. We can get you another look here from town as well. Let me pull up. So you're going to see a lot of kind of things in the way here. But I think our best view of this thunderstorm coming into Bryan and College Station, and then we'll show you back that time view. See the lightning that's moving town. It's about to get louder. It's about to get windier. The electricity alone with this storm has been concerning, but you can see the outer edge of this thunderstorm moving in from the north. And then again, that's what you see back here, that kind of discoloration, that lighter color, if you will, as we flash those lightning strikes up. That is the heavy rain, and then that's going to be the potential for the hail that moves our direction as it comes into town, as it begins to move on in. All right. So again, well, let's look at that hail core because
Say we're still getting golf ball on radar estimates.
and as we were, talking about the storm and forecasting the system, that's always kind of been the issue, right? Like we talked about the large hail. We started this whole thing with a tornado warning. This thing's rotating. We don't have a tornado possible tag on it. But it's always been the hail and it's been the wind, and that's exactly what we're about to be dealing with here. As at least this portion of the storm moves into Brazos County. So where that hail core is currently, if we just take a look, kind of poking around, and again, this is just taking off the algorithms, but it's every indication, golf ball sized hail that's falling now just off to the east and to the south of Cooks Point. It's that purple area that you see. Just to get your perspective here, that's the Brazos River, that's the Brazos County line, and there's the bridge there at the Brazos River and Highway 21. So we'll do it again for folks that are tuning in. Kaylee, have you checked the Facebook comments lately?
No, not lately.
Let's go ahead. I'm gonna extend this hail core just a bit, but let's go off towards the southeast. We might run out of real estate, so I'm probably gonna speed this up just a bit because I got to about 23 mile per hour.
About a minute ago, there's Corrine was saying it's really bad off FM 50.
I'm assuming in Burleson County.
I would assume so.
Okay, so taking this hail core as we know it, as we can see it on the radar there in Burleson County. We can hear the wind picking up here at the station on 29th Street. We're coming from Highway 47 in Villa Maria, so right around Brazos Christian School. You're looking at about, say, 8:15. If you're closer to Eastwood Airport, there and then off towards on the west side of town, 8:25 for that large hail potential to come your way. If you're at the intersection or near the intersection of University and Texas, if you are on the campus of Texas A&M, if you're behind the Northgate area or between Eastwood So West Campus to North Gate to North Point Crossing to the intersection of Texas University. You're looking between 8:25 and 8:35. That is your time frame. And eventually, as we continue through town, so we're going to bypass places like Southwest Parkway, we're going to bypass George Bush. We're basically going to make our move through the north side of College Station until you get all the way down to Rock Prairie by about 8:40. And then after 8:40, we're going to hop over Highway 6 and then move into the eastern side of Brazos County. And eventually by the 9 o'clock hour, if this is still an issue, then we're moving into Grimes County. So again, just an estimation of where we have that hail core now. We're basically looking for it to get louder and potentially to get slightly destructive for things that are outside as well as dangerous, anywhere from about 8:15 this evening until about 8:40, 8:45 this evening. That's 30 minutes that we could see large hail slowly progressing itself through the city of College Station, through the city of Bryan, right here through the north side of Brazos County.
That's it. Shell, in the Facebook comments, it's John saying it's getting pea-sized hail, 21 west around 28:18.
Okay, so they're on the west side. So just kind of the leading edge of where the biggest hail is falling. You can see the lightning that's starting to pick up. This is the view from Briarcrest Highway 6. I'll show you the bridge there. Traffic's still flowing. Drew, can you do me a favor? Can you get a camera and a TVU, and can you just put it by the back door in case we start getting hail here at the station? Love to see that. Let me get you a different look here. We'll look from the south end of town where we don't have rain yet.
That's it. And I'm going to answer Dawn's question. She's asking is if George Bush area is under a tornado watch, not a tornado watch, we're all, Brazos County is under a severe thunderstorm watch.
Correct, severe thunderstorm watch. So again, the big issue is going to be the large hail, the wind as well. And while we're on that topic, Washington County, if you're watching with us, you have officially been added to the severe thunderstorm watch as well. So that will go from Washington County to Grimes County and in towards Walker counties as well. But this is the view from the rooftop of Baylor Scott and White, Rock Prairie Highway 6. This is the storm that's moving into town. And you can see the electricity that is coming with it. I will hop over here. Let's go to the Stella. So it's going to be Lake Walk there at the Stella Hotel. I'll view it back towards campus. You can see the rain has already started. We can hear the rain here as well at the station. Let me just see if I can find it's hard to find my bearings here. So let's find campus. All right, so what we're looking at is usually Kyle Field, right over here. So we got the heavy rain that is already starting to fall. All right, just checking to see if anybody is.
Shell, while you're doing that, had a spotter report in Hearn of just flooding covering the road in both directions. They are at, I don't know if they gave an actual location.
And that's fine. We can, let's do that. So Bryan, College Station, Brazos County, Burleson County, hang tight for a second. We know what's coming into town, right? And we'll show you that here more in just a bit. Kaylee, if you will, since you're on camera, go ahead, come up, go ahead, turn your radar off if you would. Because what I want to talk about, and I'll let you handle a lot of this too, we do have flash flood warnings in effect currently up in Milam County and Robertson County. Those are those maroon boxes you see there. And those go at least from Milam County to I-15. So again, in the Hearn area, we know of water that is going over the roadways there in Hearn. Do you say exactly where?
That's what I was trying to look at. North of Hearn, flooding covering the road in both directions, approximately 1 to 3 feet deep, 1 foot in the center, 3 feet on the side, some traffic, high clearance moving through. I don't think he gave a specific location though.
Okay, I'm gonna get logged into that over here. Take over for just a second.
Yeah, for sure. So you see those maroon boxes there again. Those are those flash flood warnings. We've seen plenty of rain come down over the last few hours, and that's come over across the same places. So that's why we're seeing all of that rain and all of that accumulation there. And nope. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll get sweeping radar back on here. Rob saying raining hard at Old Reliance Road. Yeah, we're starting to get kind of that leading edge of that line on through here. Very, very noisy very rainy here. We'll go ahead and get a check-in on that hail core as well.
You said 1 to 3 inches?
Yes.
Oh, is that what you just saw there in chat?
Or not 1 to 3 inches.
1 to feet.
Feet.
1 to 3 feet.
Yes.
Yeah, so 1 foot in the center, 3 feet on the sides.
Yes.
There in Hearn, which is typical. We usually see that flooding on Highway 6 specifically there in Hearn when we get a heavy rain as well.
I'd say, and I know someone was talking about getting hail, some small, sub-severe hail, but we are kind of seeing that it's not the core that we saw over Cook's Point, but you're seeing over towards Bryan College Station some of that gray and white area that we're trying to M&M, maybe some pea-sized, penny-sized. So anywhere from an M&M to small pocket change could be falling. Again, that is sub-severe, but we'll keep eyes on that as this storm continues to push south. We will.
Yeah, and just we've been playing this algorithm game a bit. So right now with this thunderstorm, which Kaylee's looking at, which pull up the hail scope again if you would,
Yeah.
Kaylee. 85% probability here that we have severe hail falling, so at least to the size of a quarter. The wind potential, we've got about a 92% rating that we have severe winds that are moving into Bryan College Station. 6% chance for a tornado, so that's the good news. And one thing that we've seen too, go ahead and, you read my mind there, poke on into that. Getting some of the estimates, go into that darker blue if you will.
Yeah,
So
it was-
this is where we had that larger hail, that ping pong ball, a golf ball sized hail. That's probably at least now trying to estimate, if not up to that sporting ball size. And it looks like we're trying to, the radar's having some issues picking it up, and that's okay. But what we know right now, we're not in those deep purples. So it looks like the hail size is coming down.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, we've played this game before, especially tonight where we've seen these storms become cyclical. So just because the hail size is coming down does not mean that it won't try to come back up. Now, as we look at it in motion here, coming out of the Highway 21 corridor, pointed down towards Snook, more so than, trying to come fully into Bryan College Station, although I do think we have some pea-sized hail mixing in here. That hail core does right now seem to be collapsing. So that can be good news, especially if we're getting the faster winds coming out. It may be undercutting that potential for that hail core to stay up with us. But again, we've played this game and we've done it kind of recently over the past few years where we see these things become cyclical. So we're going to watch it for just a little longer as things start to kind of unfold here across both Bryan College Station and then back into Burleson County. But this is just the rain alone. We haven't talked a lot more about, other parts of Burleson County that's underneath that warning as well, because really the hail threat at this point seems to be off towards your east, right? So if we're looking at the hail specifically, moving into Bryan College Station, we'll zoom in just a second, but that white's okay. That's not the kind of hail that can do damage. It's this blue pocket that's moving pretty close to, if not even into Snook as we speak. There's the Brazos River. And then there's, kind of the Brazos bottom, then you come back up into population, and that's where I think we're going to start to see some hail that's falling.
And Catherine was letting me know we have some video from outside the station.
Okay, and
If we wanna-
that's what we're looking at. I believe
Yeah.
they're on the side, if I'm not mistaken, as well. All right, on top of all of that, two more things that we need to monitor here. We've already heard of a house that potentially was hit by lightning. From
Okay,
outside the
that's
station.
live from outside the station.
See in the front or the back there? See in the front? Yeah, so you're looking at 29th Street here from the station. Drew Davis has grabbed a camera for us and braving the elements there for a second. Lightning. 2,000 almost. In the last 30 minutes, we've seen close to 2,000 lightning strikes pop between Robertson County, Milam County, but now specifically all of this yellow that you see here, these are all individual lightning strikes. So this is a very electric storm moving in, a very noisy storm. If you were trying to get maybe some kiddos down to sleep for bedtime, this is probably going to cause some issues for a bit. My other concern, and we talked about this throughout the evening, we're going to look at here, rainfall rates. So we talked about the flooding of 1 to 3 feet deep in the Hearn area. And there's a look from outside as we speak. The rainfall that is falling in Brazos County right now, over Highway 47 and Highway 21, we are coming down at a rainfall rate of 2.5 to 3 inches of rain per hour. So what does that mean? If this storm sat in this one spot for 1 hour time, roughly, this is about how much rain can fall in that hour. The storm's not sitting, but it's not exceptionally trying to get out of here anytime soon. So the heavy rain is going to be a potential that can cause some issues on our roadways. If you have somewhere maybe to go later this evening, or you're waiting, maybe you're waiting to go somewhere here, getting off of work, or just have to head to work. There is the likelihood that as all this heavy rain falls in Bryan and College Station, we're going to see at the least some short-fused water issues on our roads, especially as the water tries to get out of town with this very heavy rain that is coming on down. All right, so let's take a look at the winds. And again, we're going to stay with you as a severe thunderstorm moves through Snook, moves through Bryan and College Station. Snook, you're on the map here. So let's just kind of give a poke. These aren't going to be perfect, but what we can look at from pinpoint radar, still estimating at least a 50-mile-per-hour wind in some of the highest spots that we've seen. But again, we could find some winds in excess of about 70 miles per hour, especially as these thunderstorms start working. The wind's going to kick up before the rain truly starts to fall. So the heaviest of that right now is passing through Bryan. It has passed through most of College Station. The heaviest of the rain in Bryan and College Station specifically is primarily in the city of Bryan. So this is campus right here. There's Villa Maria. So the heaviest that rain is falling basically between 2818 and Welborn Road, and eventually going to be sweeping through the south end of Bryan as we come down. So just north of campus through the Northgate District and then towards Highway 6 as well. So we've looked at rain, we've looked at the heaviest wind. We talk about some hail potential. Again, I think as of right now, still subsevere here in Bryan and College, more Bryan than College Station, but still subsevere locally. But it's these blues that you see. Kaylee, the good news is, we haven't seen this kind of cycle back up.
Yeah, it's kind of stayed on those
Right.
lighter colors. Also, into chat, here's pea-sized hail coming down in Bryan near Lowe's on Briarcrest.
Fully believe that, yeah.
So, yeah.
If you're in Snook, though, you're near Snook, you're north of Snook, around the Highway 50, Highway 60 corridor or interchange there as well. At least $1 to $1/2 could still be falling along with the heavy rain that you have, which, again, quarter-sized is big enough to do some damage for you. You said Briarcrest Highway 6, right?
Yes.
All right,
yeah.
so let's go there.
Around-
Turn it on. There we go. And if we want, we have somebody who is sitting.
Said near the Lowe's.
Yeah, I may have gone too fast for it. Got too excited for a second. All right, so there's Highway 6. You can see the traffic moving. So here's the Lowe's parking lot. So this is where we had that pea-sized hail being reported there. Again, Highway 6, University's right down here. You can see the rain that's coming down in front of our live eye camera as all that heavy rain is falling. And lots of lightning as well. Anybody else in chat having some issues with us? And sorry, in the Facebook chat.
Let me see if we've gotten any. Lightning thunder, Normandy, Texas Avenue and Bryan, heavy rain. It's just, that same system same little area we were just looking at.
Yeah, coming down to the south. So just some kind of clerical work here. Robertson County officially, the severe thunderstorm warning obviously is now past you up. The flooding concern will continue there in Robertson County as well. We have this line of storms that stretches from basically, and you can kind of see it there, Kaylee. You can watch this little circulation take shape. So this is what we call basically turning into shorthand MCV. So it's this little tiny feature that we've been watching with the forecast data, thinking that this could happen this evening. But that little swirl right there is what's going to drive this system through the rest of this Brazos Valley. And at times, that alone can cause some very gusty winds. But that is the mesoscale feature, the tiny scale feature that is now taking shape right on top of the central to the east side of Robertson County. That is going to drive the rest of our evening storm here.
Shell, I have some people in the Facebook comments asking about Madisonville, if we can.
We surely can.
give them a little heads up there. It's that same that MCV you were talking
Right.
about that's kind of heading over towards them.
I will do that. I do want to show you though, this is kind of the whole thing, right? So we're gonna pull this to the south. We do have more activity to the west that can also be pulled into the Brazos Valley. So I think this is something we're gonna be dealing with well into the night, right? At least until after midnight. All right, so yeah, let's do that for everybody else. So where is this thing going? Let's do it in 2 segments. So we know that it's getting pulled this way. So I'm gonna drive this due east, maybe a little more southeast, but about due east, 25 miles per hour. So heavy rain, thunder, lightning, hold on. Let's clear that off for you, Madisonville. And Kayla, if you want to queue up the Madisonville live eye,
For sure.
we can take a look from town. Okay. So there's that. And the reason I want to do this is I also want to pull up our hail scope. So it doesn't seem as there's as much hail that's moving in this portion of the line. You see those little whites, that's pea-sized hail primarily. So what's coming your way towards Madison County is going to be more of the wind potential, the heavy rain, the thunder, the lightning. So over the next hour, if we're looking from the Robertson and northern portions of Brazos County, you're looking at North Zolch, right around, say, 8:30 or so. Iola around 8:30 as well. Normandy, 8:30 to 8:40 p.m. is what we're going to be looking at. Beat Eyes around 8:50. Can you toss me my glasses, please?
Yes.
Madisonville, that's going to head your way. You could have thrown them around, say,
I'm not gonna
8:50
throw 'em.
to the 9 o'clock hour. Sorry.
Also, Madisonville camera is down
Okay.
right now.
So yeah, about 9 o'clock there in Madisonville is what we're looking at. And then over towards Shiro, which we've already had some tree damage in Shiro. That will be coming your direction. All right. I'm going to draw this out because we now have Grimes County on the clock. New severe thunderstorm warning is out for still Bryan College Station, still the Snook area, down towards Clay. This is now going to include all of Milliken. It will include the King Oaks area, Cross, Beat Eyes, Iola, Shiro, Anderson, Navasota, Gibbons Creek, Carlos. We're looking at pretty much a majority of Grimes County until 9:15. A new severe thunderstorm warning in effect, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-sized hail. I say that optimistically, but it's not the ping pong and the golf ball-sized hail that we had. Storms moving a little faster. Remember, we're talking about this little system kicking this thing off towards the east, 30 mile per hour now, not very much faster, but a little faster. And yeah, those are the main things that we're watching is the hail threat up to a quarter sized and the wind in excess of about 60 miles per hour as well. So again, that goes until 9:15. And what we'll do is we'll take this line that's passing now the leading edge. We'll talk about the end of it all here in just a bit. We're going to have to zoom out just a touch. All right. So we're moving about 30 now, right? So let's put you in places like Milliken around 8:30. Let me get out of the way here so we can all see it together. Milliken around 8:30, Iola around 8:35, the community of Washington. So this is going to be just outside of that warning, but they're pretty close, just off towards the west of Navasota, 8:45. So that's going to put it into Navasota around 8:45 to 8:50 this evening. Again, Shiro about 9 o'clock, Stoneham around 9 o'clock, and then getting a little bit closer to the northwestern corner of Montgomery County, eventually moving your way by the 9:15 time frame. And again, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here, the top view, this is us here at KBTX at our front door looking out towards 29th Street. You can see all the lightning. The bottom shot that you see right now, that is Briarcrest Highway 6 looking from the over the Lowe's parking lot looking down to the south towards College Station.
We are getting a new severe thunderstorm watch for some of our southernmost counties until 2 a.m.
And that was expected. And
Yeah.
We'll see if we need it all until about 2 a.m., the way this thing is moving. But that's kind of was always the expectation that our thunderstorms could continue that long. I want to take a minute here. I want to show us still picking up about 50s. So about a 50-mile-per-hour gust that's now Generally going to be on the, so here's the Highway 6 corridor. This is Highway 30 right about here. So anybody that's from about Bryan to North College Station, specifically around the interstate, or rather the highway, and then into the east side of Brazos County, you're still looking at that potential 50-mile-per-hour winds. If you notice up here, at least on 29th Street, one, look at the water. We talked about that short fuse water issues. Take a look at that water that is piling up here on 29th Street. Just outside the station, you can see it coming up as those cars drive down the street very slowly in front of the station here. There's another puddle for you. So we've got the water, we've got the wind that is moving across, and eventually this will be moving into the east side of Brazos County as well. Let's check and see if we got any reports. Okay, let's take the Brian, which one do you want to take first? Brian Whataburger? All right, Brian Whataburger it is. We got some new video that has just come in, been sent to us. So this is the heavy rain that is falling here. If I'm not mistaken, that is the Whataburger there at the Tejas Center. But watch the wind at the peak of the Whataburger being blown over the top of it and the heavy rain that is coming down as well. All right, let's take the other one if we could. People are still eating though, still got to eat. This is Mudville, so this is going to be out in the Brazos Bottom. This is going to be closer to that thunderstorm a little earlier when it was tornado warned. This is what that thunderstorm looked like as it was moving in. That's the thunderstorm right now that thankfully has weakened, no longer have that tornado warning that is with it. But again, that is the storm that is now causing the wind, the rain, caused the golf ball and the ping pong ball sized hail that moved through portions of Cooks Point as well. All right. So what I want to do, I want to check in. So now Snook is out of the worst of it. It does look like, at least from what we can tell currently, hail size still potentially around a quarter. Again, here's the Brazos River stretching up towards Highway 47. That right there could still be some larger hailstones. But primarily, I do think, at least for the moment, for the time being, and I don't want to, jump this and then have it pick back up on us. But I would say, just judging by what we can see, this is transitioning more into a very heavy rain event, which is kind of what we expected as well. But the whites that you see, that's generally going to be anywhere around a pea-sized, a penny-sized, the size of a standard M&M for the hail that is falling here in Bryan College Station currently. So again, this is moving to the south. We got this new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for all of Grimes County, sans maybe Stoneham, Plantersville rather, but just go ahead and consider yourself there as well. So the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe seeing a hail potential come back up. I do think that maybe some of the wind that has brought down the temperatures out ahead of this is undercutting some of that potential there. Carlos, 8:30, 8:35, winds pick up, rains pick up, thunder and lightning's already started for you. Navasota, it's 8:20, you got a while. 20, 25 minutes coming your direction. Shiro around 8:50 to 8:55. Whitehall around 9 o'clock. Stoneham around 9:05 to 9:10. So again, consider yourself there as well. And then down in towards portions of the Sam Houston Forest and over towards kind of more rural areas there of Walker County around 9:15 as well. All right, do we still have Bob Pack's shot?
I was about to ask you if you just saw that.
Yeah, can we take a...
While we're getting that up, we do have a new flood warning for Milam as well. So again, just heavier rains adding to already soaked ground is making for quite the accumulation up there. So Milam County until 11:30.
Perfect. So what you're seeing there on the side, we've got, again, here at KBTX, which we know now, there's quite a bit of water that is just outside of the station. The bottom shot here, this is going to be our storm spotter, Bob Pack. He's north of Navasota on Highway 6. He's passing 2154, headed down towards the Navasota area, kind of going to check it out as that storm comes on through. This is all kind of moves to the south, which again, Navasota, we're looking at about 8:45 or so. And that warning goes through until the 9 o'clock hour as well. I haven't heard any hail here on top of us, so I think that's potentially a good sign. Kaylee, you want to take over for a second? Let me catch up on some of these reports, and we can come back.
For sure. So let's go ahead and get,
If you can take her on max 2, if y'all would. Yeah.
Drew, I need Max 2 back.
I'm gonna clear it. There you go.
Say, Drew's getting some social posting done on Max 2, but I will go ahead and get that set up.
It's all yours now.
Great, thank you. All right, let's get Max 2 up. All right, thank you. All right, so let's get this full screen, and we will go ahead and get you a play on radar. Again, still have this warning for Brazos Grimes, kind of grabs the southwestern portion of Burleson County, and that is going until, as of last check, 9:15. So we got a little bit longer with this storm here. And we'll go ahead and we'll check up on that hail one more time. Again, like we've been saying, it's good that we've haven't really seen it cycle up, because as of the last couple storms we've been watching these, they go up, they go down. It's just kind of how the atmosphere builds these storms. But this has just continued to decrease in size, which is great news. Looking like we're going to stay sub-severe here, but we'll go ahead and poke around and see what we can see. M&M just over the College Station area, M&M looking like anywhere from a P to an M&M. Maybe you're getting a couple pennies thrown in there as well, but all sub-severe, which again is just great news. Now again, that is also just still loud and flashy. And speaking of flashy, we'll get you a look at the lightning of the whole system here. Again, just lots and lots. I'll try my best to get a lot of it in, but just to give you an idea of how many flashes, and this is all in the last 30 minutes or so, and I'm not grabbing everything. We're looking over 3,000 strikes the last 30 minutes. I haven't seen any reports, though, of power outages, which is good news. Getting a lot of comments in that they can't see past their front porch. If they were driving, they couldn't see license plates. Again, that's just because these rain rates are so high.
Yeah, speaking of that, and we can say it with Kaylee, but just got a report, and this was as of 20 minutes ago. Between 6 and 8 p.m., Hearn near the fairgrounds picked up 4.25 inches of rain. Over 4 inches of rain in 2 hours there, which is the reason we have that flash flood warning in effect for Robertson County currently.
Yeah, so we went ahead and put rain rates up. And again, we're still seeing heavy rain all the way from the southern portions of Milam down through Burleson, but we're really getting a lot of that here in Brazos County right now. I'll go ahead and get us a closer zoom in on that here, and we'll, again, kind of stick around in here and see what algorithms are throwing out at us. And almost 3 inches per hour if you're looking at that, 2.78, 2.83. Clear those off. Again, that's right over kind of College Station right now. Yeah, over 2 inches an hour. So again, plenty of moisture in the air to work with, and that's why we're seeing such heavy rain rates with this system. So we'll clear all of you. And getting a couple beeps over on chat. All right. We will go ahead and get you a zoom out on that. We'll time this out for you again. I know we've kind of moved this the further south as we've gone along the evening. So again, southeast about 25 or so. Kind of give you an idea of this. So there's southeast. 20. There we go. All right. Oh, it didn't click. There we go. All right, so this is the entire line, so we're not looking, again, that hail core is kind of diminished, so we're not watching for one point within this line, but the line as a whole, we're looking at Milliken, 8:29, so you're in the next 3 minutes, Singleton, 8:42, Bedice, 8:44, Navasota Municipal. So at the airport, expect that about 10 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. Navasota, I saw some people asking about Navasota a little bit ago, so that line should be in your backyard around 8:52. Anderson, 8:57, and then once we get down to areas like Stoneham, we're looking at 9:19. So we will clear that. We will kind of zoom out. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and throw them over on our Facebook Live, and we will make sure we're answering those as we go. Looks like, is it Kimberly? No, Amy said they lost power in the Harvey area. Again, we just looked at that lightning, so I'm not overly surprised, but I'm a little surprised we haven't seen more reports, but not uncommon. And just to give you, again, that system, the whole system is taking up basically anywhere from central portions of the Brazos Valley northward. We're seeing lots and lots of rain, lightning, and we'll get you a look again at hail as well. We'll kind of give you a move around here. Whoa, hail core has greatly diminished, which is just great news. Shell, I don't know if you heard that, had a report of a power outage over near, was it Harvey? Or let me see where that was. Wellborn Utilities has had power outages, says Alyssa. Yeah, Harvey area was where they lost power. So, and again, not overly surprising with all that lightning. So again, we'll get you a look at that hail core, and we'll play this out just if maybe you're just joining us or you haven't seen kind of what this hail core has been doing the last little bit. We can kind of follow it, and you can see it went from those dark blues up near, and then that was Coates Creek over to the east of Caldwell, and that kind of followed right along the county line, or the border between Burleson and Brazos there. But it greatly diminished, and we have not seen this pulse back up, which again is just great news. So we will poke around and see what size hail we're seeing falling.
Haley, real quick.
Yeah.
And we'll work to get this on air. You can go, so it looks like College Station Utilities, all is fine there from what I can tell from their outage map. It does look, though, that BTU has some kind of sporadic outages in the Traditions area. In Bryan, it looks like, let's see, out near Biddle Lane and Jordan Loop, about 76 folks without. Rebecca Street has about 50 customers without. So just a smattering of outages across town, but there is a 1,000 customer power outage on the BTU map here along 158, so the Deer Run Drive, Pate Road, Golden Nugget, Roans Chapel Road, Winding Creek, all those folks there on the east side of Brazos County out near kind of Bird Pond Road. Looks like about a 1,000 customer power outage between Brushy Creek and Bird Pond right now.
Saw some comments in here as well about rotation, and if we've seen that. Don't think we're seeing anything at the moment, but we are seeing, again, just very gusty winds. So you can see those brighter pinks there. We're gonna kind of dig around, see what we can see there. 50 mile per hour, 57. So anywhere between 50 and say 60 mile per hour wind gust, and not gonna be ruled out behind this line as it goes. But overall, okay, we do have the outage map up, if we would, let's take the BTU. Just kind of give people an idea. So yeah, so you said 1,000?
Yeah, 1.1, that red area there, if you want to zoom in there, just off to the east of College Station. That is where we have that largest outage there on the east side. Just so outside of College Station Utilities area, but there for BTU on the east side of Brazos County.
I'd say yeah, plenty of lightning over there as well as those. That's kind of where we were just looking at those breezier, gustier winds upwards of 50. Right. So, all right, thanks, guys. We can bring it back to max 2.
And that could be wind, that could be lightning as well.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Transformer, considering how electric these storms are.
Yeah, someone also was asking if they heard the large boom, which I assume they weren't saying thunder, but that likely, again, like Shell said, could have been a transformer with all that lightning. So, yeah, rotation-wise, I'm not seeing anything of concern, I don't think. Let's play you out and see. I mean, maybe a little bit along that brief line, but if anything, that's just going to be those kind of spin-ups that we see, but not anything of concern right now.
Grimes County checking in with us, trying to see if he gave us an exact location. Sorry, this is Hilltop Lake. So this is Hilltop Lakes up there in Leon County. Reporting in 1 inch of rain every 15 minutes so far and falling.
Wow.
Still falling. So
I'd say, yeah, well,
quite a bit of water that's falling up in Leon County. Again, we got a lot of moisture to work with. You felt it today when you walked outside. So now I think that's kind of where this is, we still have the 50 mile per hour winds at least. If you want to look at the hail cores again, those seem to have fallen down. We don't have a rotation concern at this point. So I think now we're transitioning more to the wind potential as we continue further south and east into the Brazos Valley. And we also have the potential for the flooding rains as well.
So, yeah. We'll get another check-in on that hail, and then we can go up towards Leon County, because I know we haven't really spent a whole lot of time over in our kind of northeastern county, just because of how this line's set up for us. But yeah, hail core has gone down again considerably, penny-sized. Well, that's a little bigger than last time, so we'll keep eyes on this one. But kind of like how Shell said, this is transitioning into more of a straight line wind concern as these lines kind of bow out and that cooler, rain-cooled air kind of rushes out in front of them. So
Yeah,
we will-
and we, again, since we've done this a couple times here this evening, when you talk about what the radar is seeing, and we put our mathematical equations to it, so we can kind of get a probability of what's happening when it comes down to hail, wind, and tornado. We only have about 11% now being estimated, as you can see there, with just a little bit left. So only now about a 10% chance that there is severe hail falling with this. We're still around a 50% chance that we have stronger winds, at least severe winds, which is at least 58 miles per hour. A lot of what we've sampled has been at least 50 mile per hour, so significant, but maybe not necessarily what can cause destruction. And that tornado threat is down to 1%, which you love to see. That's exactly where we want to see something like that with storms like this, especially after what we had earlier this evening.
And Shell, you were talking about the winds, with the probability of those winds. Just to kind of give you an idea, again, maybe it's not reading the best, but we're seeing, radar indicated winds upwards of 40, or for most, closer to 50. There's 55. And again, that's going to be quite gusty, and that's just straight line winds. We're not, like Shell said, seeing any rotation with this. We don't see any of those greens and reds meeting, like how we saw a little bit earlier with that tornado warned storm. So that is, again, good news. You can kind of see where that leading edge is. That's where you have that green right in front of it, but that's just the air moving the other way from the radar. I did say we were gonna get a check-in on areas like Leon County, so we will clear you off. And that severe thunderstorm warning does continue on for the next little bit, continues until 9:15, I believe is at last check.
Yeah, what I'm getting some clarification on, Kaylee, is just to be sure. So according to our system, the severe thunderstorm watch has been expired and canceled for the central Brazos Valley. It has now been added to Austin, Waller, Montgomery, and San Jacinto County. We have the storms that have come through, so the severe threat's now anything that's east or south of that line of thunderstorms. So I'm just confirming, I do think that the severe weather threat has come down for Brazos County, Madison County, not quite completely. So that's why I think maybe this was a wrong button push, but I'm confirming on that the severe thunderstorm watch has expired, mainly because Milam, Robertson, Leon continues, even though I do think that the severe threat's over there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Right.
go ahead and take that.
Yeah.
if we could.
Let's take that. We're looking at some video sent in. This is of lightning in Normandy. And again, like we saw earlier, just lots of lightning with this system. It's flashing like crazy. Ooh, that was a big one. And that's why we're seeing those power outages. Again, we had about 1,000 customers out for BTU, trying to monitor Facebook comments as well to see if anyone else has seen any from College Station utilities.
Yeah, and if we can do we still have that BTU outage map
Up.
handy by chance? Because we have some good news potentially for folks there, which is that you see that big red area is now gone. So it does look like
at that.
they were able to get that taken care of. Still, again, some sporadic outages throughout Bryan and the BTU service area. But it does look like the largest outage of the evening has been taken care of for us.
Yeah, that's great. Great news.
Can we come back to Max 1, if we could? All right, so I am inclined to, I think what we can do here, it is 8:35 this evening. We still have some pretty fast winds that are blowing here into Grimes County. You can see this little node that has come out here, and there is a bit of a bowing segment as it moves from the west side of Grimes County in towards the central portions of the county, and then eventually over towards places like Beat Eyes, Singleton, maybe even trying to stretch down to Roans Prairie, although that may be a little too far south. That is where we could see some enhanced wind soon. But when we look at this generally, look at the hail potential, we see some whites around the Navasota River, the Brazos River here on the south side of Brazos County. Generally about pea-sized hail falling, but the severity of the hail has come down. In terms of the wind potential here, and we'll widen out. Again, that's kind of my main area of concern there. I do want to see one thing. It is interesting that there's just, it looks like an inflow. And we'll see if there's anything to it here with our next scan. Okay, give me 1 second if we can. So I think that generally, as long as this doesn't turn into something, we can transition our coverage to just online to the KBTX Media Facebook page as well here in just a bit. I want to watch these two areas for just a couple more scans. We still technically have that severe thunderstorm warning. But it does look like there might be some inflow, so some winds that are being pulled from Washington County, Grimes County, and it's being kind of pulled into this line of thunderstorms. So what we're seeing here, a little bit of red, very broad rotation starting to show up south of Welborn towards the Milliken area here, just off to the west of Highway 6. I'm going to zoom in. So if you're in primarily Milliken, and I bet you that a lot of what's not going to show up here, we've got a lot of new development out here in this part of the county, but basically around, say, FM 2154, and then around 159. So anywhere near Milliken and along 2154 specifically. This is kind of an area that we need to watch just closely. Again, broad rotation, nothing concerning as of right now. We don't have a tornado warning just yet, but if you are along 2154 to the west, southwest of Highway 6, South Brazos County, kind of need to watch this area for just a bit longer. And as long as we can do that and we don't see anything in the next scan or so, I think that we can kind of retire things from here and take it over towards where we are streaming currently, which is the KBTX Media Facebook page, as well as kbtx.com as well. We do have a report of large trees down across the road on County Road 216. That's behind the Cooks Point store. So remember, we had this thunderstorm come tumbling out. We had the large hail up in the Cooks Point area. So at least some damaging winds at the least. But again, large trees down across County Road 216 in Burleson County behind the Cooks Point store. Saying they had hail and 45-mile-per-hour winds. I'm going to ask how big the hail was. Kaylee, I'm going to pop that in the weather service if you want to take over real quick for us.
For sure.
Let's watch that little corner there.
For sure. All right. Let me switch over. I have Max 2 pulled up real fast.
Yeah, if we can switch over to Max 2, if we can.
It's yours, Kaylee.
All right, thank you. All right, we got Max 2 up here, and again, we're watching those two little areas of some maybe rotation. Is that what we were?
Yeah, they're on the south end of the county.
Yeah. We will get kind of wind and velocity up here and get a kind of playback of it. Well, actually, we're going to step-by-step this one just to kind of give us, sometimes it plays a little too quickly. So you can see where those greens and those reds are. That's where we're watching, again, where you see them kind of try and meet, or at least get a little bit closer together and wrap around each other. That's where we're seeing that potential for maybe a bit of rotation.
It's still pretty broad. It's still there, though. That's the new
still
scan.
there, but yeah, it's not tightening up, and it looks like it kind of weakened as of the last scan. Maybe kind of there. You see those brighter greens. That indicates that stronger wrap inward. But then as we go to that next scan, you can see, looks like we may have just gotten a new one in as well. Yeah. So it's gotten darker as it goes. So the darker those colors get, that's the less strong we're seeing there. We'll give a kind of dive into that as well. So wrong thing.
And just while you're doing that, just got word in there from that Cooks Point area where we have the large trees down. They in fact did, and this is why we stayed on with you. Confirmation now that we did have ping pong ball-sized hail falling in Cooks Point earlier this evening.
Say that was what our kind of algorithms and our radar indicated things were telling us. So good to know that they stayed inside and were able to be safe there. And we will kind of step over here where we may see another little area trying to get some broad rotation going on south of Lyons. You can see it kind of move over right there. Again, very broad, nothing of big concern, but something we'll kind of keep our eyes on for sure. Broaden you out a little bit. still interested in this other one.
We've got 5 inches of rain being reported off of the Old Franklin Highway. More, actually. So the rain gauge goes to 5 inches, and it is overflowing the rain gauge in Robertson County.
Here is, again, another view of that kind of where it looked to over Milliken, where it kind of tightened up, but then very much broadened there. Again, those darker colors, darker shades of green. We'll get another. So that was 8:30, so 15 or so minutes ago. And then it is widened out big time, which is good to see, but still it's a little broad, a little bit of rotation that we'll keep our eyes on. There we will give us a zoom out. And you'll also see, again, not rotation, but still wind related, up towards, looks like it was in Beat Ice and Singleton. Those, again, we're talking brighter colors, right? That's where we have those higher winds. And we will kind of poke around here. And this isn't rotating, these are just the straight lines behind that line, and that's getting, 63 mile per hour gusts, 53, 56. So still very, very gusty and noisy. But again, there, you're not having that green and red mix, so not a rotation concern. But over near Keith, Iola, Singleton, heading towards Beat Ice, we'll kind of play this out for you. So you can see as it kind of moves, there we go. So yeah, move through Keith, Iola, Singleton's just now starting to get into it there, and then Beat Ice, it'll be coming your way as well. So not rotating, but just very strong, gusty winds there. No, you're good.
Yeah, and so since we're up there, I got some clarification on that. So the severe thunderstorm watch will expire in 15 minutes. Milam, Robertson, Leon, and then all the counties that you see that are not shaded in. Trinity, San Jacinto, Montgomery, Waller, Austin, and Washington counties will continue until the 2 a.m. timestamp.
Okay.
For those.
All right, so we've seen the ones that were previously issued. What is Lee County still?
Until 10 p.m.
Okay,
Yes, I believe so.
Lee County's still at 10. All right, so while we'll get back on to.
In fact, there is if you want to hop over there, there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County.
Gotcha.
So if you want to hop to that, or we can come to Max 1, either or.
I'd say I can go check out Lee County real fast, and then we can hop back over to 1, and we'll let Drew get back to posting on social with this box. All right, so Lee County. This is a kind of a longer warning here. We'll get a look into what's going on with this one. So we got severe thunderstorm warning, 60 mile per hour winds, hail of at least an inch. So that's size of, that is for Gillespie. That is wrong. Hang on, sorry. There we go. We'll get the right one up here now. I'll read the right one. There we go. All right, till 9:45. And we are looking at 60 mile per hour wind gust, quarter size hail. So yeah, same. So right at that base of severe thunderstorm warning criteria there. Getting hail damage to vehicles is expected. So again, that quarter-sized hail, even though it's just 1 inch, that is enough to start getting some damage on vehicles. So you have maybe a little bit of time if you need to get your vehicle under cover. You can kind of see the bulk of that system hasn't quite made it into Lee just yet. And as for timing, it's moving east at 35. So we'll kind of get an idea of that. So east-ish at 35. This will give you a kind of a timing on that, and then we will dive in to see what that hail core is looking like. It's east at 35. There we go. So we will get rid of you. And there is that timeline there. So looks to get to kind of Giddings in around 9:18. So you still, like I said, have a little bit of time to, if you have your car that is not covered, get that under some cover and then get yourself inside. Because again, quarter-sized hail is large enough to bring some damage to vehicles. So we will clear this and we'll kind of dig in and see what the hail is looking like right now. So you can see kind of where those darker pinks are. Yep, right near Camp Swift. And we will poke around in there. You kind of see that lighter blue. Yep, that's that quarter. And then M&M. So let's play this out and kind of see how that hail core has developed. So yeah, kind of peaked and then went down, and then we'll likely see that kind of stay around a quarter here in the next little few scans. We'll keep our eyes on that. As for winds with this, again, not expecting rotation or going to see any rotation, but we can see kind of those lighter pinks, brighter pinks, kind of moving into the very northwestern portion of Lee County. So we're looking at 41, 41, 30. So likely seeing gusts a little bit higher, but upwards of at least 40. And we're seeing for the actual warning, it was for wind gust upwards of, or at least 260. So we'll check in on that hail core, and I'll time it out for him again. And then if we want to move over to max 1, we can. Here
Yeah, let's pop over for just a second. Got a couple things, and I think we're not going to drop our coverage, but we are going to probably step off of there for right now, because most of what we're dealing with currently is either right below or right at severe limits, kind of the baseline severe limits. And we don't see a lot of hail until we come into the city of Giddings. But we do have, I think at this point, a lot of flood concerns. So the same report that I was getting in from Cook's Point, where we had the ping pong ball-sized hail, we have large trees down over 916. They're also reporting a lot of standing water in their yard. 3.9 inches of rain since the rain started falling, and that was only, an hour and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
Hearn has a lot of water issues currently. We've seen reports of 5 inches at max, but that was from an overflowing rain gauge. So we've seen more than 5 inches of rainfall in the Hearn area. Still steady. The rainfall rates have come down quite a bit. And the heaviest rain and the strongest storms, they're moving into Grimes County right now. My biggest kind of area that we need to keep eyes on, just where we have the highest winds, that's right there, running the road there from Roans Prairie to Singleton, but really between Singleton and Beat Eyes at this point. So right along 90, this is where we have fastest winds that are being estimated to the tune of still about 50, 55. So if we can get some of those higher ones. Yeah, so about 45 to 50. Again, a 60-mile-per-hour gust is really going to be where we start seeing big damage. I'm not saying that there's not going to be some small damage out here as well, especially with the rain that we have going on. We have flood warnings in effect for Milam County and for Robertson County. We're going to have water issues up here into the night, mainly because the water, while it is slowed down quite a bit, it is still falling. So it's just coming on top of anything that's trying to wash out. We have a flood advisory in place for Lee County. So some minor low-lying areas, street flooding, likely ongoing there. We have a lot of lightning. We have a lot of thunder that's happening out in places like Madisonville. We've seen some reports from Normandy. I want to pull up very quickly here. Let's see if we've got a connection to it. We don't. I was going to try to pull up our Madison County Courthouse camera, but we do not have a connection to it right now. But just in what you can see on your screen, I mean, it's still a noisy, flashy night out there. 1,500, almost 1,600 lightning strikes in the past 30 minutes. Granted, we've spread it out a little bit more, so that's kind of the good news. But I think what we're going to find, and we'll do this, and then we'll wrap up our coverage here on TV until we need to come back for whatever reason. But we'll let this populate here for a second. There we go. So this is now my big concern, right? This is what we're already seeing. We've had anywhere from 1 to 2, 3 inches of rainfall in the blue in a short amount of time. But we'll come in and zoom in on the city of Hearn. Zoom out just a bit, I guess. And this is the area where we had a tornado warning earlier, large hail. So again, we've had ground reports of 5 inches of rain. Radar estimating here, picking up anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain, a lot of which is running just off to the east of town, up towards Elliott, and then back down to the south, also back towards the Brazos River here, around 3 to 4 inches. So again, in terms of feet, the last that we heard in the city of Hearn, 1 foot of water in certain road places, especially portions of Highway 6 And then on the side of the road, 3 feet of water that's standing. And that was about an hour ago, last time we heard that. So water is going to be a concern at this point. It's one of those things where you don't have to head anywhere. Kind of stay in for the evening. All right, one last look for us here, and then if everything is kosher enough, again, if you're watching with us, we're not giving up on you. If you're in places like Beat Eyes, Singleton, down in the southern or the eastern Brazos Valley, we're just going to move this online. But we still have an enhanced wind being estimated here, around 50 miles per hour. One thing we kind of see when we see winds like this, notice how there's a little green up here? There might be a little bit of something happening from that cloud right there on the Madison County line. So north of Beat Eyes, south of North Zulch. Not concerning, but it does show us that there might be some wind that's kind of coming around this little node that's pushing out here, there in Grimes County. And we'll take another look here down to the south. Again, if you're in Brenham, I think for the most part, Washington County, you're doing okay. I don't see any issues on the southern end of the line. What was the Lee County
Yes.
issue for?
It was for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter for hail.
And moving out what?
It was southeast at 35.
Okay. So Giddings, we're still looking at a possibility of a large hail core here, around 9:30, a quarter hailstone. Just checking to make sure I didn't miss anything here. And then one last thing for us. City of Huntsville, Walker County, primarily Walker County. A new severe thunderstorm warning. That will go until 9:45. 60-mile-per-hour wind, quarter-sized hail. What we're mainly watching this for is that area, right? That same one that we've been talking about, moving east at 35. So what I'm going to do, this is the area of concern. We'll go east at 35. And your timeline here, Crabs Prairie around 9:15, Huntsville itself around 9:20 to 9:30. That is when it's expected to reach the I-45 corridor in Huntsville. Riverside around 9:40 as well, as it moves past Huntsville, and then over towards Oakhurst around 9:50 this evening. Again, 60-mile-per-hour winds, I think is the main issue. Let's check your hail real quick, though. I don't see much hail. So this is going to be a wind thumping possible there as it moves towards I-45. All right, so for another couple of minutes, Grimes County continues with that severe thunderstorm warning, but primarily my concern, it's not for Navasota necessarily. It's mainly around the Singleton area, moving into the north side and maybe even the north side of Huntsville, but the north side of Walker County. A lot of open country here, not completely open country, but a lot of open country here. We have severe thunderstorm warning for Giddings for a bit longer, and then we have the strong, heavy downpours that continue on that is causing flooding concerns as well. So as we approach this 9 o'clock hour, I appreciate you guys staying with us. It's still a noisy night, it's still a flashy night, and again, the water issues are now my biggest concern going forward. So if you're still in the path of a storm, if you want to continue with this coverage, we're going to end things here. We are going to take it over to the KBTX Media Facebook page. You're likely going to have to scroll down a bit or click on our videos tab to find that. You can also find us at KBTX.com. If we get any new concerning warnings, any reason that we need to come back on air, we'll do so. And if we have some time during commercial breaks, we'll also do that as well. So we're going to take it to the .com. If you're watching online, it's going to drop to black for just a bit. But appreciate you sticking with us. If you got pictures, if you've got any damage reports, if you have flooding concerns tonight, email them at weather@kbtx.com. You can send them into social media, or you can go to kbtx.com, drop the little hamburger menu, submit your picture. We would love to see those. We would love to share them as well. Keep it on News 3. We're here to keep you and your family safe.
This has been a KBTX News 3 Severe Weather Update, sponsored by American Momentum Bank.